everybody, guess what? Persephone and I, you're awake? Persephone and I are actually going to be getting back into the groove of doing weekly astrology, but it is going to be different. For those of you who were watching me, earlier this year, you'll recall I took a break from doing general astrology for horoscopes and different sign populations. I still do astrology for personal readings, but I took a break from doing it for general populations because I was getting all of this guidance throughout January that the planets themselves are going to start expressing their own evolution through this shift. They're going to start expressing their own higher levels, right? When we talk about like the higher 5D, 60, 70 Venus, higher 5D, 60, 70 Pluto, that kind of thing. And so I really wanted to actually take this year away from the habit of maybe looking at things as they were, and of course getting more in tune with this whole shift so that I could actually present astrology and whatnot, or whatever I'm presenting, in the most, again, up to date and present way. And so this style is going to, look and feel a little bit different. And I am going to be getting into doing monthlies as well, but they're not going to be for specific sign populations, not the astrology, okay? As we go through this, getting these ideas, sharing this information, going through and, breaking this down to assist with the weather is one thing, but I am not going to be doing astrology as a way to bypass work. So I'm just going to put that there. For those of you who are curious about the weekly tarot, I'm still doing weekly tarot, of course, but they are now all on one video. And so, as I always say, if astrology is the weather, the tarot is the traffic. So I'm sharing the traffic. They're all on one video, separated by chapters and timestamps. For those of you who know how to use YouTube, you can then look and see your sun, moon, and rising, all of that good stuff in one video. And this last week's, is already up, and the next one will be coming up here very, very soon. And don't forget to check out my incoming waves. And for those of you who are watching this before Friday the 20th, don't forget, I also have a special live video talking about how to get unstuck and how to check your list for when you kind of feel that you're maybe, hitting this chain reaction territory and you don't know what chain reactions to initiate and get things to start resonating, get the synchronicities to start coming again, get back in alignment with your own higher expression, your own higher journey. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. It's at 2 p.m. Pacific time, US and Canada, on Friday. So let's talk about what the big themes of astrology are as it relates to, again, the week beginning November 23rd. We've got Venus going into Scorpio, where she's gonna be for about 3.5 weeks. And this goes right out the gate. This is happening just actually as we get through the weekend leading up to the week of the 23rd. And Venus in Scorpio is all about this divine ascended feminine, right? Because Venus is now expressing her higher levels. Venus is now expressing her 5D plus self. We see this divine ascended feminine coming through the energies of this archetype of the deep, the depths, right? True intimacy. When we talk about Scorpio, we are talking about peeling off layers. We are talking about raw, vulnerable, intimate, and yes, sensual energy, bringing things up to be cleared so that there can actually be true, healthy connections. Now, this is going to, of course, do some serious reshaping when it comes to different kinds of relationships, especially relationships that need to go through a clearing of the false self, the representational self, or the illusory self. With Venus in Scorpio, it's important to understand that on many levels, this is about actually increasing and raising what you might consider to be a spiritual intelligence quotient and an emotional intelligence quotient. So you might be seeing this in all kinds of different engagements, platonic as well as more intimate and family and all of that, because a lot of people are also going to need to see where they have been maybe faking things, right? You can't fake it anymore. And we've been talking about that in the incoming waves, but Venus entering Scorpio, again, the divine ascended feminine, right here at the end of this big year, is all about saying, no, we are not going to have this. It's either true, open, honest affection, true, open, honest communication, articulate at that. Okay, Venus in Scorpio is all about being able to articulate and identify one's emotions, to express oneself in a completely honest, true, and thorough way, fostering the healthiest intimate exchanges possible. We've also got the sun going into Sagittarius and beginning what you might call a wide trine or a long trine to Chiron in Aries. Sagittarius, of course, working on expanding our own perceptions, expanding our intelligence, increasing our intellect, again, raising our personal standards for what we know, for what we can communicate, for what we can do, bringing in inspiration to innovate. And with Aries being that focus on the pioneer, right? The ability to move forward with that true, complete idea of not only intention, but self-living intentionally every moment. We also have an opportunity for everyone, right? Very much emphasized to also do some serious work in making progress where they may have actually have not been taking that kind of step. Again, we've been talking about this a lot all year, but now the planets are getting involved. Because with the sun trying to Chiron, Chiron, the wounded healer, or sometimes the wounded brat, can sometimes, tempt people to kind of enroll themselves into situations where, they're not a vibrational match. They're really not able to keep up with the class or with the curriculum or with what is actually coming out there. And so the sun in Sag trying to Chiron is kind of saying like, look, we're going to start helping people get where they really belong, but we're also going to be challenging situations where people might have, again, kind of like that Venus entering Scorpio, have been maybe skipping certain steps or bypassing certain steps. And you might be noticing some solutions coming from this when it comes to maybe fixing maybe different problems that go on with a certain work project or a certain maybe educational path or a spiritual path. Things that maybe you've been trying to work with without working on them. You might be also noticing that things that we've kind of learned to live without are also starting to show up in our life to actually do some serious healing there. It is going to, be, of course, more exact at the end of this week and going into the beginning of the first week of December. But there is going to be this big focus of everyone now being shown completely how adept they are or where they need to be actually seriously doing some work. Now, we do this not necessarily to just torment people, right? The sun in Sagittarius is about expansion, but there are a lot of things that, can sometimes get taken on in order to be practical or to be prudent, or maybe it's triggered by a desire to do something out of survival, or it's part of a journey that's kind of lost its way. This is going to start getting everything back on its course. And you're also going to notice with the sun, through Sagittarius as well, if you have been finding that it's really hard to reach certain people, it's going to make sense why you're not reaching certain people. And it's also going to make sense why certain situations need to go through this reorganization. If a person just somehow slipped into a situation where they are way too advanced, they are way overqualified, yeah, this is going to be an opportunity for a lot of you to wiggle out of that, however it's applying in your life. However, you may also be noticing that some folks who might have slipped into advanced situations or advanced projects that, again, they kind of weaseled in there or kind of got brought in because they give good interview or they got a +1 treatment. Well, they themselves are also going to start getting guided into other spaces, guided into more complementary spaces. And all of this is about tearing down what is fake, right? And when we talk about fakeness, we talk about illusions, right? We talk about that. So it's like when you fake it till you make it, you're still creating an illusion. And none of these energies are complementary or supportive of illusions whatsoever. So a lot of things like that are starting to get this nice rearrange. And if you've been in a situation where you maybe feel like a lot of your life has been kind of stalled due to being either placed in the wrong spot, however it applies, or kind of stuck with the wrong crew, however that applies, this is going to help to start creating avenues of movement. Yes, on the external, or maybe within your field, in your family, depending on where certain people are in their own growth and their own development. It may be easier, it may be more difficult for certain folks. And so it's gonna be a bit tough for folks that you observe going through that. They might have spent a lot of their life not really learning anything about themselves, but just sort of scrounging for strategies to get advantages. This is going to turn that world and that paradigm upside down. But again, if this whole theme is about true intimacy, true connection, true bonding, and of course, the amplification and expansion of our own higher intelligence, our own higher emotional feedback, our own feelings, our own ability to connect and to unify and have truly healthy, truly connective, truly supportive relationships with one another and all, it's crucial. So that's what I've got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. Stay tuned for the incoming wave that will also be coming out here very soon, and the weekly tarot horoscopes, which will be coming up as well. Remember, they are all in one video now, so if you got used to only looking for one certain thing to click, I also feel comfortable saying now you can click on the bell icon for an alert for my channel, since you won't have to worry about having 14 videos come flying up on your alerts. And I also look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Friday the 20th, for those of you who are watching this before my 2 p.m. show. And if you ever want to get a session with me, go on to my website, integrativemysticism.com.